Okay, class, this is chapter 5-6a, locating dilation images. First of all, we need to go through a couple of terms. Dilation is a transformation in which a figure and its image are similar. What we're really doing is we're either stretching it out to make an enlargement or we're shrinking it down to make a reduction. The scale factor, sometimes called the scale, is really the ratio of the new image to the original image. The first part of what you're going to be doing is taking a diagram and finding a dilation. They will tell you to start at the center point, and you have to be very careful about this. We get into the habit of always going to the lower left-hand point, but you need to pay attention to what they call the center point. And we measure the length of the line segments. We multiply the length of each side by the scale factor. Then we mark off each length and draw in the new dilation. Example 1 says to find the image of triangle ABC after a dilation with center A and a scale factor of 1/2. The 30s probably really are not going to be very accurate. All of the measurements that we've taken here, by the way, all the measurements I do are using the metric units. And I'll try this. What we're going to do is make sure we're on center point A. And according to this, it's about 7.4. Almost 7.5, which means we need to be at about 3 1/4. So we're going to put a mark there. Now, yours might have a different measurement on it, so you're going to have to pause if you need to in order to make that work. Then we're going to go down here to AC, and this one actually looks like it's 7, so I'm going to make a mark at the halfway point, which is 3 1/2. So obviously we can totally ignore the 30s. You can use your ruler. I'm going to try doing it without. I'm going to connect these two lines. And that will be my new dilation. We usually label dilations as prime marks. So this would be B prime and this one would be C prime. Hit pause and you try to do the next one. Okay, class, how did you do? First of all, are you sure you used X as your center? If you didn't and you used Y instead, please erase it and do it over. But this is how your new figure should look. Many times we are going to use coordinate grids. Sometimes they will tell us the coordinates and we have to graph them. If the image is already drawn, sometimes we will have to find the X and Y coordinates of the points. What we're going to do is multiply the X and the Y coordinates by the scale factor. That is going to give us our new X and Y coordinates. We'll graph those points and then we'll draw. In example 1, we have a triangle that has coordinates of -2, -2, 4, -2, and 1, 1, which has been drawn in. We need to graph the image A prime, B prime, C prime after a dilation with a scale factor of 3/2. We need to give the coordinates of triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. So the first thing I'm going to do is work at making sure I have the coordinates. Now, I took -2/1 times my scale factor of 3/2. This goes back to multiplying with fractions, so that's why A prime is -3, -3. To find the 4, or the B, I'm going to take 4/1 times 3/2. The 2 and the 4 will reduce each other, and I will have 6. So the X coordinate for B is going to be 6. Now I already know that if I take -2 times 3/2, I'm going to get -3. And of course, if I take 1 times 3 over 2, that's going to be 3 over 2, which is 1 1/2 and 1 1/2. Now I graph those points. So I'm going to graph -3, -3. I'm going to graph 6, -3. And that's A prime. This is B prime, and C prime is 1 1/2, 1 1/2, which is actually going to be a big dot right smack dab in the middle of that square. And that's going to be C prime. And it's not going to turn out quite as nice as we would like, perhaps. We have to connect the points. And to connect the A to the C prime is going to be a little harder. But that is going to be your dilation. Okay, in example 2, this time we don't know the coordinates of the image of quadrilateral ABCD, so we're going to have to find them, and then we're going to have to take the scale factor and then graph the dilation. So A is going to be -6, 6. To get to A prime, I need to multiply those by 1/2, which in other words, divide by 2. -3, 3. B is 6, 6. So B prime is going to be 3, 3. C is 6, -6. So C prime is going to be 3, -3. And D is -6, -6, which means that D prime is going to be -3, -3. And I'm going to switch colors in order to graph. So I need -3, 3. That's A prime. B prime is 3, 3. C prime is 3, -3. And D prime is -3, -3. And now I can connect the dots. And I have found my new coordinates, and I have drawn in the dilation. Okay, here's example 3. This is where you're going to put it all together. I want you to hit pause. I want you to do the work, do the graphing, but I will warn you that I did not make the graph big enough, so you're going to have to kind of guesstimate where -10, 14 is. Alrighty, if you need to, hit pause and double check to make sure that you have the new coordinates for the F prime, G prime, H prime, I prime, and double check that you have the correct diagram. And this concludes lesson 5, 6A on dilations.